Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're going to be talking about my pull plans for the month of January, just before the 5-year anniversary for Global Opera Omnia. We're going to briefly talk about the characters kit and all weapons they are going to be getting, and I'm going to let you guys know what my plans are going to be for each of the characters that was announced that is going to be getting either a new weapon or the brand new ones, which we already know is going to be Garland and Fusoya. So let me know down in the comment section below what your plans are going to be, who you're going to be pulling for, who you're going to be skipping up for, etc, etc. And of course, if you guys do enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and a shout out to all of my YouTube members for the continuous support. You guys are awesome. And of course, if you guys are wanting to join, you can either click the link in the description below, or you can hit that join button for details on what you can actually benefit from becoming a member of the channel. So and a thank you ahead of time if you do decide to become one. So let's first start off with the man himself, which is what everybody has been wanting to get their hands on ever since we got closer and closer to this month, which is of course Garland. Now Garland, he is definitely worth it in my opinion. I am going in with gems, and I'm probably going to token this BT. Even though there are going to be some free multis afterwards, I'm still going to go ahead and token it just because I have the tokens ready for him. Garland is definitely worth your resources 100%. I do still think that he is very much viable on the JP side. Yeah, he may need a slight little bit of help because we are about like 7 to 8 months ahead of the global version where FR Echo will be needed, so that way whenever you go into the BT phase with Jack, you'll go in with a strong HP damage bonus percentage. So like overall, like for where he stands right now, which I will be doing a gameplay to show you guys how he is currently in the game right now in JP. In my opinion, I do think he is well worth your resources to go for. Now, for those who may not know what Garland does, basically he puts the enemy's brave into the negative. The thing is though, is that negative is going to be based on the max brave value, which in turn will equal to the amount of follow-up damage that Garland is going to be doing. So with that follow-up attack that he does deal 2 HP attacks, and then on the final one is going to be based on the percentage of the negative value that the enemy is at. So most of the time, at least from my experiences of using Jack in JP, like normally his final HP attack is going to be a huge one, and it's going to be way higher than the first two. Aside from that though, I mean, he's a damage dealer and whatnot. I mean, like whenever you do activate his BT, he does pretty much get like free turn use throughout the duration of his BT effect. Yeah, his BT effect is 6 turns, but I mean, we've had like Sid Reigns, and if you have experience with Sid Reigns and properly setting up so that way you can get the most out of that 6-turn BT effect, then you'll be just fine with using Garland. I mean, like he is very much worth. He is extremely good at what he does, and so far he has aged very, very well on the JP side, and I can only imagine how he is going to be whenever JP Square Enix decide, hey, let's give him Force Echo. I feel like he's going to be insane. If you are curious about what his FR ability does in terms of the conditions, at least, a 20% increase whenever a party member selects a melee ability, a 20% increase when enemy is in break at the end of the party member's turn. And that one right there, if anything, if you do struggle with trying to break the enemy, or if you know that they gain a whole bunch of brave, like Setsu's freeze ability will help you out greatly with that. If by chance they do gain a whole bunch of brave out of nowhere, I mean, you can use Arciella's debuff from the call abilities. So there are many ways to manipulate the enemy's brave, so that way they can either have a very low amount of brave, or they can pretty much like remain like at 0 or just broken. And then the final one is going to be whenever an enemy has less than 0 brave at the end of the party member's turn. So either 0 brave or they have a negative brave value. So and then of course, one thing I should have mentioned too is that whenever the FR is active, you do gain the party does gain a 30% brave damage cap up. So yeah, like I said, overall, definitely worth pulling for. I would recommend them personally. And if you are a new player or you just recently started, you need yourself a DPS character, best believe Jack Garland is going to be well worth your resources. And if you don't have enough gems to pity his BT or anything like that, and you just recently started playing, I would recommend that you go for him, because he is very, very, very much worth. And like I said, I will upload another gameplay showing you guys the current state for Jack Garland. Next up is Beatrix. So Beatrix is going to be getting her FR, and Lightning is going to be getting her rework and her force level enhancements. Now with Beatrix, the rework that she's going to be getting, her skill 1, 1 additional use, 3 HP attacks. Her skill 2, 4 additional uses. Her Thunder Slash deals 2 HP attacks. The plus version deals 3. When it comes to her EX passive gains additional brave damage up. Her EX ability, or her EX attack in general, gains more brave potency, which is going to be a big help for her. And then her Sworn General above adds more attack up and party brave gains up, which is sweet. Her LD ability. At the start of the fight, her Rose Petals debuff got extended to 4 turns now. Previously it was 2. Her Noble Loyalty, they increased the percentages for her stolen and gain max brave overflow up. Her LD ability does 4 HP dumps. Her follow-up attack deals 3 HP attack, excuse me. And with a brave potency increase, and able to recover brave in between those HP attacks. And then her Rose Petals debuffs now adds a 10% HP damage resist down, so that's additional HP damage that you'll be able to deal in general, or I guess like with everybody, whoever's attacking said enemy with that debuff. When it comes to her FR conditions, whenever the party in general, whenever the FR ability is active, whenever the party has 12 or more party buffs, they will gain a 20% HP damage up and a 20% HP damage cap up. When it comes to the conditions, a 5% increase whenever a player except for Beatrix uses a Thunder ability, and this also includes off-turn triggers. I mean, we have plenty of characters that deal off-turn damage, and including Beatrix, so that's not going to be an issue. A 20% increase whenever Beatrix uses a Thunder ability, and this also includes off-turn triggers. That's going to be very good to have. And a 30% increase whenever party members' turn passes with 12 or more party buffs. Even if you do struggle a little bit with getting those party buffs or anything like that, you can always use call abilities. There are plenty of call abilities. Well, no, I won't say plenty, but there are some call abilities that will grant you a good amount of buffs to the party. Like one key one would be Hope. Hope's call ability would work with helping out to meet these requirements. So overall, though, I would say Beatrix's FR, in my opinion, for how her kit already operates, I do feel like her FR is worth it. I do think that it is a good FR to have, especially with knowing that Beatrix is able to not only dispel enemy buffs, but at the same time, though, it also benefit her with those counter attacks to be able to increase the force conditions, or the force conditions and the HP damage bonus and whatnot to meet said force conditions and increase the HP damage bonus, excuse me. So like I definitely do think that she is the type of FR where, like, if you want to have a character that is able to reduce the amounts of brave and HP damage that is inflicted onto the party, and at the same time, like, you do have the benefit of being able to dispel buffs from the enemy and having some pretty overall strong damage, Beatrix FR is definitely a good FR to actually grab. One thing to know is that if by chance you do decide not to get her FR, there is going to be a fight later down the line when Garnet and Terra get their Force Echoes, and that specific fight right there, Beatrix excels in that fight without using her FR. I actually used Balthier's FR for that fight, and Beatrix and Balthier are literally best friends, because like when it comes to dispelling buffs and whatnot, and you have Balthier's FR active, it's actually really nice. Like they are just, I don't know, the chemistry is just like right there in terms of like meeting their meeting Balthia's FR condition. So yeah, I would say overall you need yourself a character that is able to mitigate damage and whatnot, and at the same time dispel buffs, provide support to the party, and whatnot. Good battery overall, great damage. I would say Beatrix FR would be worth picking up. For me myself, I will throw some tickets for her FR, and hopefully I can get it. It was definitely worth me picking up. Now for Lightning did get her force enhancements and a rework. Now I'm not gonna go too crazy into her rework and everything like that. I think it's best that I would say please go watch a video that I uploaded talking about Lightning's rework and how I honestly felt about it, because I do still feel the same about Lightning. But you know, if you don't want to watch it, to keep it short, yeah, her rework and everything was nice and all. It's like, you know, splash damage and whatnot, like, yeah, that's nice. Resets the target's break status whenever she gets that free, I guess, like free ability use and whatnot. But like for me in general though, I just feel like when it comes to like Lightning and with her being such a strong turn hogger, in a way I feel like she would probably excel a little bit more once FR Echo drops into global. But at the same time though, with the amount of turn hogging that she does and the fact that her splash damage is yeah, it's not really the best. Like, it's pretty doo-doo, if you want to be honest with you. I would say, like, unless you are a true fan of Lightning, like, you know, that's totally up to you. But for me, myself, as much as I would like to use Lightning a whole lot more, I would say you could I would say, honestly, you could probably hold off on Lightning. And like I said, if you want to watch the video, feel free to. But overall, I'm going to say... yeah, I would not go too crazy on it unless like at some point in time in the future they decide to give her an FR and another rework. Then we'll see if my opinion changes on her. But as of right now, I would say I would just hold off on Lightning for right now. Next up, we're going to talk about Rydia and Firion. Now, Rydia is going to be getting her FR weapon. Firion is going to be getting a rework and force level enhancement. So for Rydia, when it comes to her FR ability, when using her FR and you are dealing elemental weakness brave damage up, the party gains a 50% HP damage up and a 50% HP damage cap up. That is high, like high and good. When it comes to her FR conditions, so whenever you do have whenever you use her FR ability, she does inflict a debuff called Entrancing Foam, which is a hit rate down, a defense down, and HP damage down. If you're curious to see the percentages, you can see right there, the hit rate down, they are pretty much going to be missing throughout the entire time that they have that debuff on them, which that debuff only lasts for 3 turns. So that'll be like 3 turns where you don't have to use like Rydia's LD ability to gain that debuff for that full party evasion, or you know, the self debuff and whatnot. So that for the evasion, 50% defense down and a 20% HP damage resist down. So a very good debuff at that. But when it comes to her force conditions, a 20% increase whenever a party member except for Rydia selects a water ability, a 50% increase whenever Rydia selects a water ability, and a 50%, get this, 50% whenever a party member evades an attack. So you can only imagine that depending on the type of fight you're going up against, if you're going up against enemies that have high turn rates, if you got enemies who inflict like speed down onto you and whatnot, or if they increase their what do you call it? Yeah, their turn rate up, then Rydia's FR is actually one to consider. I do think it's a very strong FR. It is meant for specific fights, but overall in general though, I feel like her FR is very much worth. The rework that she is getting is not too shabby either. 3 additional uses on a skill 1, and it does gain more brave potency and stolen max brave overflow. Her skill 2 gains 5 uses, 4 HP attacks altogether, and recovers brave in between those HP attacks. Her EX ability, her EX passive gains a whole bunch of stuff, which I'm not going to go over, but it does deal 5 HP dumps now, and it does allow her to retain 40% brave when using HP attacks. So I would say, in my opinion, Rydia's FR is very much worth. Like I said, it is definitely meant so for certain type of fights, like, you know, like plenty of other FRs that we do have in the game. So I would say, like, if you're debating on on pulling for her FR, I would look at it as to looking at your other FRs to see something somewhat similar to it. And especially with the fact that she does gain an increase whenever you evade attacks. If you want to compare that to, let's say, off-turn damage dealers, where they do gain or they do increase the HP damage bonus by a certain percentage, you have to look at it like, which one would you rather have? Evasion, or would you want to just stick to your off turners and whatnot and have them do their thing, over and over and over? So it's totally up to you. Like, but overall, though, for me myself, I'm gonna be throwing some tickets at her FR. Her FR, in my opinion, is definitely worth. And like, I myself would recommend pulling for this FR just because of like how good it is, how good the percentages are, and even if it's only meant for a specific type of fights, I do still think it's very much worth picking up. Now for Firion does get force level enhancements. When it comes to his rework, his skill 1, 2 HP dumps for the blood weapon, and then the blood weapon plus deals 3 HP dumps altogether. And then when it comes to his skill 2, it does gain an additional use. His seize attack deals 2 HP attacks. His seize attack blood weapon 2 HP attacks, and then the plus version of seize attack 3 HP attacks, and the same goes for his seize attack plus blood weapon. His EX ability, his EX passive gains an increase in his percentages. His weapon master 5 HP attacks, the same goes for the plus version, and he now gains a free ability use after you use his EX. And then his LD ability, 5 HP dumps altogether. The drain weapon trap deals 3 HP attacks now, and he does get a whole bunch of upgrades. I actually used Firion. I can't remember if I did a gameplay for him or not. I might have. If I did, I'll make sure to link that video and also the lightning video, if I haven't mentioned it already, down in the description below, if I did do a showcase for him. But I do think overall, like, if you're a fan of Firion, you're definitely going to enjoy the upgrades and whatnot. Is he worth pulling for? Unless he's a favorite, I would say if you did pick up Garland, I think you'd be just fine. Unless you want a DPS character that also heals at the same time. And those traps, remember the drain weapon traps that he has, it does also heal the party, and it does get an increase in the amount of healing that it does. So it just depends on what exactly you need and whatnot. But overall, good unit. But if you already have Garland, I think you'd be just fine with not pulling him and passing up on him until a later date. Next up is going to be Iroha and Onion Knight. Iroha is going to be getting her BT weapon, and Onion Knight is going to be getting his FR. And both characters are going to be getting a rework. Onion Knight is going to be getting his force level enhancements. Now for Iroha, when it comes to her BT is unique because it's focused on HP damage. But it is a stackable, it is based on fixed HP damage, but it is a stackable BT effect. Now you have to increase those stacks, which it does increase every time you act with Iroha, and it goes up to 5 stacks. So how it works is that based on whatever stack you have, will equal the amount of fixed HP damage that you will deal on the last HP attack. So the first one being 20%, then after that 40%, 60%, 80%, and then 100% of the current max brave cap. So it's not a bad BT effect overall. I mean, like, it does have like other conditions like HP damage cap, brave damage up, stolen max brave overflow up. But yeah, aside from that, like, it's not a bad BT effect. Like, if you enjoy using your fixed HP damage and whatnot, and you want to gain a big additional increase in damage, depending on the HP damage cap that you have active, then it's not a bad BT effect to actually pick up. I actually used Iroha recently in the Ifrit Spiritist fight because like her FR ability was actually one of those that was able to cancel out the enemy's force, and she did just fine. And like I paired her up with Ace and somebody else, I already forgot who, with General Leo, and she did just fine. I mean, like, even if her percentages have not been increased since she does not have FR Echo just yet, she still did fairly well. But is it necessary to have? I mean, yeah, I would say you could probably hold off on it, in my opinion. Like, I think, again, unless you're a big fan of like the whole fixed HP damage and whatnot on the last HP attack, then I would say you could go for it. But like in general, I think if you do have some strong supports, and with the amount of characters lately who have been having reworks where they are able to recover Brave in between HP attacks. The only other reason would be like if you want like an easy F4 to meet in terms of conditions, or if you want a character, or if you want Iroha for her ability to provide the party to allow them to retain 20% of their of the HP damage that they dealt in Brave, then you can do that as well. But I would say you could probably hold off with Iroha. I'm still kind of like on the debate if I want to pull for it or not. I honestly, I'm unsure. I very much am unsure, and like I guess we'll see if I finally make a decision by the time her banners drop. But I'm going to say as of right now, it's kind of like a big question mark if I am going to be pulling for it or not. Because like, yeah, it was useful for me during Ifrit Spiritus, and yeah, the big fat HP the big fat fixed HP damage is nice and all, but like, is it necessary? That's the part I'm just like, I'm not too sure. Rework wise, she does gain additional uses and whatnot. 5 HP attacks on her skill 1. Skill 2 additional uses. EX ability, they actually changed it now, where her EX ability has, at least the first one, has instant turn rate. So like, you can actually use both her EX ability at this pretty much like you can use it back to back, not pretty much. So not too bad on that, and it does deal 4 HP attacks with more splash damage on it. And also her Kyokatsugetsu also adds some more self auras and whatnot. So yeah, overall, solid character. I would say I really don't think that she's like necessary for like any other player, but like, I guess like the mechanic is like nice to have, but like I say, I'm still very much unsure on what I want to do. Now, Onion Knight gets a rework, and he's actually one of the first characters to get a BT rework. So when it comes to his FR, before we take a look at his actually no, let's take a look at his rework first. So his skill 1 gains 4 uses, and it now deals 4 HP attacks with 50% splash, which is great. His skill 2 also gains 4 uses and deals 6 HP attacks, so not too shabby there. His EX ability now deals 4 HP attacks with his Meteorite attack. His Blade Torrent is still at 4 HP attacks, but it does trigger twice, so that's 8 HP dumps in total, which is nice. His LD ability now deals 5 HP attacks in total, which is great, and they also gave him an additional use to his LD. Now for his BT rework, so both his ninjutsu and his spellbook, depending on like which buffs you have on, gain an increase in Brave potency, and then his ninjutsu got a rework. So the ninjutsu spellbook is, the ninjutsu spellbook. So yeah, pretty much both of them. So they added a 20% party ice enchant, so you don't have to be using his C65 all the time now. They also added a 30% brave damage up, and brave damage cap up, and a 20% HP damage cap up. So overall, when rework wise, not too bad whatsoever. I may have to give Onion Knight a try, and not a try. I may have to give Onion Knight some time to shine, because it's been forever since I've used Onion Knight. Now, whenever you are using his FR actually provides Ice Enchant for the entire party, so that's awesome. A 40% increase whenever the previous turn was an ally's turn. When the previous turn was an ally's turn. So basically, as long as you have like everybody like all together and whatnot, like all bunched up together, and not have like the turn order all like crazy funky like, then yeah, you can easily gain that 40% increase. A 20% increase whenever party member except for Onion Knight uses a ice ability, and a 30% increase whenever Onion Knight selects an ice ability. So overall, not too bad. I'm still I'm kind of like in the same boat with Onion Knight, the same that I am with Iroha. Like, yeah, his rework is pretty good, right? His FR, I do think is good. But I'm still kind of like on the debate if I do want to pull for his FR weapon again. I'm still very much unsure on what I want to do. If I do decide to actually go for his FR, then I will probably throw some tickets at it. But as of right now, I'm still very much unsure on like what exactly I do want to do. Next up is Machina, who is going to be getting his FR. Now, Machina does not get a rework, and in my opinion, I really didn't think that he needed a rework. But his FR though, his FR is a pretty good one at that. So whenever you use his FR, and if you are selecting a melee ability, this also includes off-turn triggers per individual. Party HP damage up 50% and party HP damage cap up by 50%. That is really good. You know, that 50% is great. Like Rydia has that in her FR, and for Machina to have this is pretty nuts. So a 5% increase whenever a party member, except for Machina, uses a melee ability, includes off-turn triggers. So you can tell right there already that you need to pair Machina with melee type users. A 25% increase whenever Machina uses a melee ability, and this also or melee attack, excuse me. And this also includes off-turn triggers. Remember, having his once you use his LD, you're pretty much going to get that counter attack that Machina will get. Also remember that if Machina does get hit, then he will trigger not only that one but also the other one. So like Machina can potentially increase the HP damage bonus off turn up to 50%, which is crazy. And with that fat HP damage cap up that he has while his FR is active, it's pretty crazy. A 40% increase whenever a party member uses a change brave or HP attack. Now Machina, whenever you activate his BT effect, you do get the Furious Blades Furious Blades attack, his BT attack, right? That changes his HP command. I already forgot what it is. So with that, I mean, like, you can tell that this FR, like, yeah, other characters can benefit it, but like, it's gonna be more so for characters who are going to deal off-turn damage, because that's going to help them out greatly. But you're pretty much gonna be using his Furious Blades burst attack and going into the BT phase with Machina, so that way you can take advantage of that condition, and also the other one, which is whenever you are using a non-normal turn rate ability, which does gain a 15% increase. So Machina's FR, in my opinion, is 100% worth. I mean, he is providing the party with a fat HP damage cap. He can potentially deal 1 to 2 counter attacks off turn, which will easily increase it by 25%, 5% for anybody else. I mean, like, in my opinion, I don't know what else to say other than the fact that it is definitely worth. You definitely want, for any newer player, you definitely want to make sure that you get the full investment out of Machina. So you want to have his BT and whatnot, so that way you are able to get every single inch that you possibly can out of Machina. So like, yeah, definitely worth it. I will be throwing tickets to hopefully get his FR weapon, and yeah, we'll see what happens then. But yeah, that's the only thing I gotta cover with Machina. And then finally, we'll talk about the other new character that's going to be dropping, which is Fusoya. And also we got Ciaran, who's going to be getting a rework and his force level enhancements. Now Fusoya, in my opinion, is not a bad character. I think he definitely has one unique use. Well, not really unique, but like, he's able to make this like use better. So basically, when it comes to like his general kit, he is able to inflict paralysis and whatnot, and the buffs that he actually provides is pretty cool. So he's able to apply paralysis, but get this, his LD ability is actually able to extend any user inflicted debuffs duration by 2 turns, and that also includes his paralysis. So like, his paralysis can be extended a pretty far amount. I mean, you have 4 uses of his EX and whatnot. So I mean, like, you can extend that paralysis for a good amount. Now here's the thing, the way that you would look at Fusoya is going to be in a way like you can use Fusoya for those type of fights where if the enemy jumps in a turn order or if they gain a whole bunch of turns and whatnot, then like knowing if you're able to set up properly and make it so that the enemy has a good long duration of the paralysis debuff on them, Fusoya can actually be pretty good in a way, because like in a way like he kind of like does the opposite of like what you would want to take advantage of whenever the enemies jump in a turn order or the turn hog or whatever it is that makes them want to just have to try to take control of the fight, right? Fusoya is like that type of character where it's just like you better chill the hell out, right? So with that, some of the other things that he is able to do, his LD debuff makes it so that the debuffs from Fusoya will actually become frames. So guess what? If you are going to be inflicting debuffs onto the enemy and whatnot, you don't have to worry about the paralysis debuff falling off or being pushed off. You don't have to worry about the debuffs being pushed off, or the paralysis debuff pushed off, because it's going to be framed. The buff also provides the party with attack up, brave damage up, HP damage up, and then after every HP attack, increases brave by 200% of the holder's initial brave, and also provides the party with brave gains up. So not bad, not too bad overall. His EX ability, 6 HP attacks in general, and with the give your power to meteor, provides him with some self buffs and whatnot. He also inflicts the HP damage taken up, so that means that with this debuff you're gonna be dealing additional HP damage on top of what you are already dealing and whatnot. So not too bad overall. I do think Fusoya, he in a way he's like that type of character, like I said, where like it's like the opposite of like what you want to do with like turn hoggers and whatnot, where you do gain an advantage for dealing off turn damage and whatnot. Like Fusoya is more of like you better chill the hell out. At the same time, he's providing support. He makes it so that you deal higher HP damage and whatnot. I do think that he is a pretty solid character. Now, when it comes to his FR ability, he does inflict paralysis on all enemies for 2 turns, and if you already have that LD, if you have his LD buff active, then hey, it's gonna be framed. When it comes to his conditions, while you have his FR active, the party recovers HP by 10% of the HP damage dealt up to 30% of max HP. So look at that, he's supporting you even more, and he also provides the party with a 30% brave gains up. So not bad. His FR conditions: whenever party members' brave regen occurs at the start of turn, a 30% increase whenever a party member except for Fusoya attacks a debuffed enemy, and a 40% increase whenever Fusoya attacks a debuffed enemy. So conditions, very easy to meet, not hard whatsoever. For me, I'm probably going to pull for his kit again. I enjoyed his kit. His kit is a lot of fun to play with. Like turn control is always going to be in my hands, and even if the enemies decide that they think they're going to get a turn, and guess what? Fusoya is going to be like, nope, nah fam, you going to remain paralyzed and it's going to be my turn. So yeah, I am probably going to throw tickets at his banner, and hopefully I can get it, unless I manage to get his stuff within his within the free multi whatnot. But yeah, I would say solid character for like turn controlling and whatnot, and providing some pretty good support, healing, all that good stuff. So if you're needing a type of character like that, Fusoya can definitely be your grandpa for all of this stuff. I don't know why the hell I said that. And then finally, Ciaran. Ciaran is going to be getting a rework in his 4-7 enhancements. Ciaran, I mean, he's an Orbot. He's literally an Orbot that just stands there and looks pretty and provides some solid ores and whatnot, as long as you have his LD and his BT and whatnot. So his skill 1, 5 HP attacks. His EX ability does 4 HP attacks, full HP damage, recovers brave in between those HP attacks at a higher amount. And then his LD ability, when using his LD ability, it now increases party brave gain at a much higher percentage. Allows for 120% gain max brave overflow. They basically increase his brave recovery in between attacks, and his brave potency, and then his world's memories. They increased the amount of party ores that he's going to be providing. So like I said, he's an Orbot. He's pretty much just standing there looking pretty. He'll do his damage and all that good stuff, etc., etc. whenever his turn. But like he's pretty much there to like to support the team, kind of like how Ramza does with his great party ores and whatnot. I mean, Ciaran and Ramza are like almost. They do have the differences, but they are practically the same thing. So I would say you need yourself an Orbot, then Ciaran is a pretty solid option overall. But other than that, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I pretty much covered every single character and gave a brief description. Well, somewhat of the changes or the new weapons that they're going to be getting, so on and so forth. Again, let me know down in the comment section below what your plans are going to be, who you're going to be pulling for, who you're going to be skipping out for, etc., etc. And of course, if you guys enjoy it, like, subscribe, do other good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.